All right, here's a question where we're looking at calculating the standard entropy change. Let me grab that. For the following reaction, and notice it, your instructions are using the tables. So what does that mean? In this module, we have linked in our textbook, to our textbook, I should say, a table of standard thermodynamic properties for selected substances. This is in our current textbook, it's called Appendix G. We did use it back in Chem 1 when looking at enthalpy changes for reactions, standard enthalpy changes. This semester, what's new in Gen Chem 2 is calculating standard Gibbs free energy changes for reactions and calculating standard entropy changes for reactions. So this is the table you should use. You can find these tables in just about any general chemistry textbook, but sometimes the numerical values are slightly different from source to source, so you want to make sure that you're using the table from our current textbook. So here's what I do. I've got this reaction. Let me grab this reaction and bring it down here. All right, I got most of it here because I want to make a little table. This is how I'm going to organize my work. I'm trying to get the standard entropy change, so I'm going to have to find those third law entropy values from the table. That is the third column, the last column in this table. This is arranged alphabetical by element, so I'm going to scroll down to carbon. All right, there's my carbon. And I'm going to find CH4 gas. I do want to pay attention to the state because CH4 might show up with a gas or a liquid or a solid, different. Sometimes you find the same substance in different states. And I want to grab the gas. And I'm going to that third column where my entropy, my third law entropies are. And so for CH4, the value from the table is 186.3. Now, I'm in the carbon area of the table, so I'm going to go ahead and look for CO2 gas, which I also need based on this reaction. And again, I'm going to grab that entropy value, 213.8, and I'm going to record it over here. This table on the left that I'm building is just my way of organizing this material. You can do it in a different way if you want to, but I like doing it this way. Now I'm going to scroll down to hydrogen to find my water. Let's see if water is with the hydrogen. So FGH. So this is the hydrogen area. And indeed, I find water. Be careful, I find it as both a liquid and a gas. If I come back to my reaction, I need it as the gas. So I'm going to grab the 188.8 value. All right. And now I'm going to scroll down to oxygen and find my O2, LMNOP. So there is my oxygen. Again, make sure you're grabbing O2, make sure it's a gas, and it's 205.2. All right. And now to complete this problem, all right, I'm calculating the delta S for that reaction, the standard entropy change. It is products minus reactants, and I do have to multiply by any coefficients. So I'll multiply the value for water by 2. And so, whoops, let me pull that down here. So the delta S for this reaction will be 2 times the 188.8 for water plus the 213.8 for CO2. These are all in, wasn't paying too close attention to my units. They are all in joules per Kelvin per mole. All right, my units are joules per Kelvin per mole. My per mole gets canceled when I multiply by the number of moles, and you'll notice my instructions are to put the answer in units of joules per Kelvin. So there's adding up all of my products. Then I will subtract, adding up all of my reactants. So I have the 186.3 plus 2 times the 205.2. Punch that in my calculator. You do have to be a little careful punching it in. Watch your parentheses. All right, as I punch this in, 186.3 and 2 times 205.2. And I am getting negative 5.3 joules per Kelvin. Boy, I wish the answer was up here so I could double check it, but that's what I'm going to plug in. You'll notice that all of my numbers from the table were to 1 decimal. I do not want to round those, and I do not round my answer when I pull the values from the table. I do not round any of those values, and I report exactly what my calculator says. And so I'm going to report negative 5.3. I'm not typing in the units. I'm just going to type that in as my answer and hit submit.